Jammies, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jacynta and today this is the look we'll be creating. I just wanted to sit down with you guys and tell you a little bit more about myself because I feel like that last video wasn't much of an intro. I guess that was sort of me learning how to go about the process. So today's video will hopefully give you an insight into a little bit more about me and hopefully you enjoy it. Okay, so I've done my base makeup off camera and I will leave a list of the products that I used in the description below for you and we will jump straight into the eye look. So I'm going to be using the 39L Hit the Lights palette by Morphe, and I think the first shade I'm going to dip into is this brown shade here, which is called Hook Up. So we're just going to tap that into the outer crease and sort of blend it out. And whilst we're doing that, I might tell you just a little bit about myself. I actually think I'm going to mix a bit of my type in with it too. Just to, I don't know, make it, I don't know what I'm doing with my life and now I can't restart, so it's fine. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Jacynta. I am 20 years old and I am from Melbourne, Victoria, which is in Australia for any of you overseas watchers. I live at home with my mum. We have quite a few animals. I wouldn't say it's a lot, but it's more than the average person. So we have a Jack Russell and a Bull Terrier, as well as two little ginger ninjas, two ginger cats, which I love to pieces. We also have a sheep named Jill. How original is that? And we also have like 7 chickens. So it's a pretty interesting house to live in at times. Believe it or not, it is quiet at times. The dogs like to pretend they're cats and like to sleep for half the day, so that can be pretty entertaining. They're pretty darn cute. I might insert a couple of pictures just here of my animals for you, just so you're like not left in the dark about what they look like. Because I know for me, when people mention their animals, I'm like, oh my god, I want to see pictures. Let me know what they look like. Oh, too cute. That's just how I am as a person. One really random fact about me is that I am obsessed with ducks. So I have this really weird obsession with ducks. I like looking at wild ones. I love it when people have pet ducks. My partner for Christmas last year literally got me a wooden duck and a calendar that had kittens and ducks in it because he knows how obsessed I am. Alright, grabbing another brush. Okay, so what I did was I used a sort of glitter on top, but I don't think it's enough to be used on its own, so I'm going to put colour over the top of that and then lay the glitter on. And we might even use a few glitters for that. So I'm just going to dip into 2am, which is this neon yellow here, which seems really bright. So I might mix it again with my type, just to dull it down a little bit. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's fine. That's another thing that you could know about me, is that I like to wing it. Winging it is one of my favourite things to do. Sometimes I have a plan for things, but the plan doesn't like work out, so then I wing it. And my mum likes to tell me that that is exactly what adulting is. So, bit of life advice for you, I guess. Okay, this is working nicer than I thought it would. There's glitter everywhere. What else can you know about me? My favourite colour is like teal aqua blue. I tried to get my mum to let me paint that wall behind me like bright aqua green. And she was like, no, with the carpet, you look like you live in a forest. Even though we sort of do. And I'm glad she made me make it a more blue tone because it looks great. I honestly love it. A little fun fact about me is that I work in my local supermarket. I've been there for 5 years now. I'm trained, I guess, in 3 or 4 different departments, which is really cool. I like being a sort of all-rounder or being really multi-skilled. I'm going to go in with this shade here, Extra Attitude, and see how that goes. Oh, it's picking up a lot nicer already. I like that. I tend to use lots of orange shades on my eyes, which with my skin tone makes me look quite zombie-ish sometimes, or really, really tired. So that's something I'm learning how to avoid, or how to change it, change the appearance of it. Honestly, I'm not loving this today, but that's okay. I might even grab out a couple of the Stila glitters I've got and just chuck those over the top. I don't even know what else you guys want to know about me. Like, what else is there to share? One of my friends suggested talking about like what I've been enjoying doing lately, which is pretty much just watching Netflix. Just Netflix. I love Netflix. I spend way too much time watching Netflix. Okay, so next I'm gonna put on some of the Stila liquid eyeshadow glitters. This one's in the shade Burnished Sienna, which is gonna tie in nicely with all the orange tones we got going on here. Hopefully. I'm just gonna pat that out with the same brush I used for the shimmer. I am also a first year university student, so I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Education Studies. Ironic that I'm studying. So that's been really interesting. It's overall been a really interesting year because of coronavirus, and in some ways I've struggled with that. I'll be honest with you guys. I've mentally struggled seeing everything online and then going to work and hearing about it. And yes, I am fortunate enough to be working during this time, and I really do appreciate that, but at the same time it's been sort of hard to keep my morale up whilst I'm there, because I'm just spending all this time on social media seeing it, and then at work interacting with customers and talking about it with them. And so my solution to that was avoiding social media, which I am horrible at. Like, I cannot avoid it for the life of me. I don't know why. I really don't. Maybe it's an addiction. Okay, just dipping back into My Type and Hookup, just to smoke out that lower lash line a little bit. Wow, that's a lot of product. I done cooked it. No, I didn't. It's fine. Just to smoke out the lower lash line a little, just to bring everything above down below, minus the glitter, although I'm sure there's plenty of that in there. Something else about me is that I waffle on quite a lot. I talk a lot of crap. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for the eyeshadow. I am going to tightline, as they call it, which is using a black eyeliner pencil on, I think it's both waterlines is tightlining. I think. Well, that's what we're doing. I have half an idea about what this pencil used to be, what brand it used to be. I'm pretty sure it's just, I think it's Glamazon. It was just in a makeup kit that I had when I was like 8 years old. So that's what I'm using. So next I'm going in with my Illamasqua mascara, just to make me look less bold, I guess. Something else about me is that I never used to put mascara on my bottom lashes. I would layer it on so thick on my top lashes that it would just, like, I'd blink it down onto my lower lash line. And I used to be paranoid that my lower lashes were going to look 8 times longer than my top lashes, which might be a reason why I never put mascara on the bottom ones, but I guess with false lashes it actually makes more sense to. So that's a new habit for me. It's something that I learned or changed my mind on. Before putting lashes on, I'm gonna dip into the NYX Strobe of Genius highlighting palette. If I can get it open. Just gonna take a mix of these two outer shades here on the bottom because that's my go-to. And just with the excess that's on the brush, do the nose and a cupid's bow, chin, and above the brows, even though I'm sure this did nothing. And using the same palette, I'm just going to take a tiny little brush and dip into the sort of goldeny yellow shade here, and maybe even this bottom light shade here. Well, they usually layer really well. So the gold's a nice touch. Actually, that doesn't look too bad on its own. Yeah, I sort of like that. I'm not going in with the other colour. I lied. Put it in the eyebrow, because why not? Alright, and we'll leave it at that. I will pop some lashes on and then I'll be back to do the lip. Okay, so I've popped some lashes on, feeling much more alive, a little less bold on my eyeballs, and next we'll do a lip. So I know exactly what lipstick I want to use, and I know that when using lipstick, my lips tend to dry out a bit, so I like to go with the Baby Lips lip balms. This one's in the shade Rose Addict, or the scent Rose Addict, because these ones are tinted, so I guess it's a shade and a scent, because it's rose scented. Yes, it is. Don't want to use too much, just because I don't want the lipstick to like get all slimy and slide a lot. That's what lip gloss is for. Then I'm going in with the NYX Matte Rouge à Lèvres. I hope I've said that right. That's what we're using. It's in the shade Eden. It's sort of it's still a bright red, but it's a darker red than the other one I've got. That is not even. That is definitely not even. It is not even in Eden. And like I said in my last video, I don't have any lip liners. Don't come for me. It's a little better, I feel like. That's as good as it's getting today. So this is the finished look for today. Hopefully you guys feel like you know a little bit more about me, I guess. I didn't really reveal too much about myself. And if there's anything you really want to know about me, feel free to comment it below. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today. Hopefully this one's a little bit shorter than the last was, because I feel like it's hard to sort of hang in there with it. It was a rough start. This is still a rough start, but that's okay. We'll get used to this eventually. It's a process. I'm still learning, and you guys get to watch me learn, so you can laugh at me all you like. I hope I'm a source of entertainment with my inability to do things. And have a lovely rest of your week.